Your compassion and care for the ministry that we share together as the North Carolina Synod is inspiring. Your generosity makes possible all kinds of ministries that none of our even largest congregations can do on their own. There's so many incredible things that we do, but the congregation obviously is the foundational building block, the hub from which all of the ministry of the ELCA flows. In fact, there is no Synod, there is no ELCA without you. So what I want to say to you profoundly today is what I say to God each day in my prayers, and that is thank you. Thank you to your congregation, to all the congregations of the North Carolina Synod that enable us to do ministry together that reaches not just where we live, but throughout the whole nation and throughout the world. There are plenty of ministries, the most foundational ministries, that happen on the congregational level, and that's exactly the way that it should be. But we're here as a synod to try to help strengthen those congregational ministries by pooling our resources together. Things like stewardship training, things like the candidacy process and conflict intervention and management when that needs to be done. There are all sorts of ways that we are the church together. I certainly don't want to leave out our agencies and institutions that we support so heavily and that mean so much to us here in this synod. Your mission support makes a tremendous difference in the life of the whole church. First of all, in the candidacy process, you may have heard, you may have experienced where you live and in your congregation that we have a pretty severe and growing shortage of pastors in the ELCA. The North Carolina Synod is an exception to that rule. We ordained 9 people last year, and we have 51 people in the candidacy process. That's the parallel process to seminary that helps the Synod accompany pastors as they prepare. And we give $4,000 to each one of those seminarians each year in scholarship assistance. That's your mission support, preparing pastors for the life of the church. So we're very excited and humbled and grateful to be able to do that. Let's hear from a couple of those seminarians who receive your support, Ethan and Cassie Overcash.
If I had to choose one word to describe the Cassie process, it'd be relationship. Just always feeling like someone's there, and it's not just a professional relationship. It's not just something to do, a process. It's people. It's people on both sides, and I always felt like we were important and that we were always cared for.
We moved to Southern Seminary in Columbia 2 weeks after we got married. Neither one of us had a job. Only I was planning on going to seminary, and there were times when I really didn't know if we were making the right decision, but mission support from the North Carolina Synod, it made me feel like I was doing the right thing. It made me feel supported by the wider church, and it made me feel like other people were working to help me achieve what God was calling me to. The entire Synod staff are a bunch of really approachable people with a wealth of life experiences. They're all readily available for conversation, and a lot of times it can feel like you're inconveniencing someone in the Synod office by having a conversation about your call. But really, that's, I think, probably what they would say the best part of their job is being in relationship with candidates and helping people to discern what God is calling them to do.
Another specific situation I want to tell you where your mission support dollars make a difference is Community Lutheran Church in Summerfield, north of Greensboro. Community was about 30 years ago a thriving mission start, just taking off great guns. And due to a number of sequential circumstances, mostly beyond their control, things just began to go south for them. But it was only after they had invested substantial money in a beautiful new sanctuary. Several of us on the Synod staff were able to walk with them through planning to sell their building and move in with a Methodist congregation. So let's hear from former president of that congregation, Ron Nimmer, about how you were able, through your support of us, to help that congregation.
The partnership with the Synod has been nothing less than instrumental in terms of where we've gotten to with our congregation. Although we've still got a lot of things that we've got to move forward on, there's a feeling of excitement and thankfulness that we are where we are now and not closed. So it's been a process that has been nothing less than, well, they've kept us alive. and they've got us moving on a course where we're going to be vital again, is what we hope for. So I would just like to encourage everyone to thank everyone for the benevolence that they've given to the Synod and allowed for the kind of help that we've gotten in the process that we've been working through.
One of the ways that your mission support is making a huge impact is through the continuing starting of new congregations here in the North Carolina Synod on our territory. This year we were able to start Emmaus in Charlotte, West Charlotte. So let's hear some of their story.
Charlotte, North Carolina has been booming as a city. We have a great amount of prosperity and beautification coming to our city, but we also have a fair amount of gentrification. And behind that gentrification, there have been communities in the Charlotte community that have been, in essence, left behind. And so in West Charlotte, you may find many social ills, lack of resources for the schools, and you might find underemployment and unemployment, and you might find a concentration of single-parent homes and all these various social ills. But in West Charlotte, what I find as a member of that community is that there is beauty to be unearthed. And I know that Jesus Christ is already there. And so the why of Emmaus is why West Charlotte is to unearth that beauty with the community, not for the community, with the community, and to reveal how much Jesus is in fact already there. The North Carolina Synod has walked hand in hand with Emmaus from its inception. The Synod has supported me in solidifying the vision and the mission of Emmaus. And so from everything from consultation to connecting me with grants to connecting me with other community members, the Synod has been right there every step of the way. As the mission developer of Emmaus, I would like to give a personal thank you to everyone that has provided support to Emmaus, whether in kind or financial. All mission support has been critical in establishing this vision. We could not do what we do if your support were not made available to us. So I want to say thank you for helping us reach the community of West Charlotte and making this vision possible.
Our forebears over 200 years ago saw value in coming together as the North Carolina Synod to pool our resources to be stronger together than we are apart. We invite you to continue stepping up into their legacy as we value the ministry of the wider church. And one last time, thank you so very much for your support of the North Carolina Synod.